For weeks, the country division has been worked to roller safety at U.S. tactful posts about the Muslim planet in preliminary of the legation go, leading probable abuse, though as authority officials say the question no much longer galvanizes the Mideast the way it one day did. The legation go, they tell, will ultimately conduct to more provincial sustainability. But the legation transmission, set for Monday, will go fair days following Israel and Iran sold beating through the Syriac boundary, shooting rocket technology at every some environment and next up in bristling threats in a cliff rise of tensions. The U.S. judgment to leave the nuke consent and identify Jerusalem as the Israelite equity has done a flammable area, 1 in 4 persons continuing discord, potential all the more than blasting, several analysts told. In the very strained position, we've now filled petrol on the flame by removal the Iran nuke transactions, that stipulated several likeness of restriction, told Bruce Riedel, a ex-CIA official who now directs the intellect draft at the Brookings establishment. Petrol on the flame ex-Mideast mediator Dennis Ross, talk on NPR, told Trump Card's judgment to annul the regulation of the nuke transactions is potential spurring Iran to show the U.S. how it will pay a cost. On environment, Iran start up several 20 rocket technology of Syria in the direction the Israelite-occupied Golan Heights, on to the Israelite by the government. Riedel added how Trump Card is now just a few days off of throw else can of petrol on the flame by driving the legation to Jerusalem. He's really hazardous. He's send the alarm how the joint state wants to resist Iran, and how's a alarm how the Israelis and the Saudis are all too thirsty to listen. On Friday, the White's building given a declaration denouncing Iran's revolutionist guardsmen housing, indicating to rocket technology fired at Israel of Syria and rocket technology fired in Saudi Arabia by the Iran-backed Houthi mob in Yemen. The White's building told the events of the 1 week are future testimony how the Iran mode's foolish actions present a harsh risk to provincial world and safety. The legation go is a controversial question for Palestinians, who expect to claim portion of Jerusalem as their next equity, and for lot in the Arabic planet as it is household to several of the sacred sites in Islamic Palestine. Commentators include marked how the synchronization of the go feels love season with salt in a injury, as the right will get location on the anniversary date of Israel's basis, a day they urge the Nakba, or calamity, since hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were constrained to run their homes. The question has been so rocky and emotionally pregnant how world negotiators had leftward the issue of Jerusalem to the definitive stages of any world transactions. Trump Card authority officials say the go is just a acceptance of a fact and how they do not in any way plan to predetermine the result of definitive national borders or independence in a world transactions. Talk to reporters on Friday, officials as well insisted how the go win set the area flaming. This judgment was done since it was examined to be in the top interests of the joint state and thing the CEO had pledged for the campaigning, told David Friedman, the U.S. envoy to Israel. This Israelis are apparently thirsty of the, and they've queried the, and they're really lucky by he, Friedman told. While requested if the Israelis had done any acquiescence in back for achieving a length-held purpose, Friedman told, down there was no offer and get in Israel in consider to the judgment. The Domestic Safety Justice's elder CEO for Strategy Evaluation, Victoria Coates, told the issue of Jerusalem wasn't the flash temperature it utilized to be, and sharpened to a chirp of Bahrain's overseas secretary proverb Israel has a order to protect himself. To see a Bay nationality, an Arabic nationality, love Bahrain go of, identify Israel as a nation, that is thing, and later a nation how has the order to protect himself versus a nation love Iran. I believe is very strong, and to do it 3 days up the legation go, I believe it shows you how the CEO is completely making the order item there, Coates told. It is not disturbing any provincial balance sheet, in reality, his management is which's earning the area along. Realities, quite rather than fantasies. Friedman added how down there are human beings who are lucky in the judgment, down there are human beings who are unfortunate in the judgment. I believe he's far too previous to be measurement reactions. In the length work, he added, the authority is confident how the Jerusalem judgment creates an prospect and a plate to begin in a world trial on the base of realities quite rather than fantasies, and we're quite upbeat how the judgment will eventually build more sustainability quite rather than less than. Though so, the country division's safety fender has been preparation for weeks to roller safety at embassies through the Muslim planet in the occasion down there is abuse, on to an authority formal known in the planner. The area is already on end. In the largest strait confronting among Israel and Iran today, the archenemies exchanged flame for several hours above the year of a flying environment overnight in the Golan Heights. Syria told the Israelite attacks noted a new stage in the dispute down there, and vowed to answer. The ardent barrier came less than rather than 2 days following Trump card reimposed nuke-related sanctions regime on Tehran in spite the opposition of Europe allies and Russia, and in spite reiterated confirmed by a UN agent how Iran was conforming in the 2015 transactions. On Friday, Iran's Overseas Secretary, Javad Zarif, dueled downward on Iran's order to enrichment Uranus, though as the nation seeks a way to support the nuke transactions in the some adoptees. Time world capitals given telephone call for tranquility, the White's building given a faithful defense of Israel and a precautionary for Iran. The authority firmly supporting Israel's order to act in personality defense, the White's building told in a declaration Thursday this Iran mode's deploy in Syria of unpleasant missile and rocket system designed at Israel is an inappropriate and very hazardous growth for the whole Medium East, the declaration told. Iran's Muslim Revolutionist Guardsman housing bears complete liability for the ensuing consequences of its foolish actions, and we urge on the IRGC and its belligerent proxies, consisting Hezbollah, to get no future provocation stares. Israel has tested to get Ruski collaboration to constrain Iran in Syria, but substantially unsuccessful. On environment, Israelite Main Secretary Benjamin Netanyahu flew to Moscow to encounter in Ruski CEO Vladimir Putin to talk war coordinate. Fair several hours after, Israel shipped a barrier of missile strike in Syria in answer to the Iran missile assault on the Golan Heights. Syriac country print informed how the nation's airborne protective force intercepted many decades of Israelite rocket technology, several of them destructive. A radar gun website and munition warehouse was as well hit as Israelite rocket technology aim a quantity of war official position, Sana told. Lebanon's war given a declaration proverb how 4 persons Israelite warplanes disrupted Lebanese airspace previous Thursday dissect the arm of wrong. Netanyahu given a live video declaration on YouTube declaration how ours operative are versus Iran targets in Syria, but if the Syriac troop will act versus us we will act versus them. He as well named on the World Society to hinder Iran al-Quds forces of based in Syria. We requirement to bring together to dissect the arm of the wrong how is propagating himself in each location, Netanyahu told, addition how Israelite politics is precise. We will not let Iran bases herself in Syria. The flash rise shipped shutters of alarm signal world. UN Secretariat General Antonio Guterres, who has alerted for months how the dispute in Syria could helical in a world big fire, forced an instant stop to all enemy acts and any provocation actions to escape a new big fire in the area. The Europe Association named on all provincial actors to show moderation and escape any rise. Russia, the UK, Germany and France named for moderation, public diplomacy and tranquility on both of sides. The France Overseas Ministry told CEO Emmanuel Macron believes how the way to bring stress put in renovated talks in Iran on a more extensive transactions how will involve its nuke activities and its ballistics rocket program as so as the searching for a decision to the crisis phenomena in the area. Riedel marked how the US was no much longer game the part it has historically held in the Medium East. Usually in the script, he told, this joint state would be the guideline vote recommendation moderation, but how's no much longer the instance.